Has there ever been a moment in your life that you wish you had started something sooner and not waited until the last minute? According to Joseph Ferrari, a professor at DePaul University, 75% of all university students are notorious procrastinators. Being all students here at Fresno State, I am sure some of you are very familiar with the word procrastination. And in my presentation today, I'm going to be sharing with you why we do this to ourselves. I believe that a better understanding of procrastination can help some of you with your future endeavors. And today I'm going to be talking about 5 main points. My first main point is going to be why we procrastinate. The second main point is going to be the misconceptions of procrastination. My third main point will be the 3 main types of procrastination that we know of. My fourth main point is going to cover what procrastination does to your health. And then my final main point is going to be just some fun facts about procrastination that some of you have probably never heard of before. So why do we procrastinate? Have you ever asked yourself, why do I keep procrastinating when I know it causes me so much anxiety? You know what you need to do, but you don't do it. Or you wait until the last minute. And time again, the pattern repeats itself. It's a sad story. You end up feeling like you're caught in a trap of anxiety, stress, and worst of all, procrastination. It was not too long ago, I pushed off a 3-page essay so hard that I waited till the morning it was due to get started on it. I closed at work the night before, and we don't get off till about midnight or 1 o'clock sometimes. And the whole time on my way to school that next day, I was just thinking, why did I do this to myself? Well, believe it or not, there's a scientific explanation to why we do this. In the past 20 years, the behavior of procrastination has received a burst of interest, with psychological researchers now recognizing that there is far more to it than simply putting something off until tomorrow. According to psychologicalscience.org, true procrastination is a complicated failure of self-regulation. Experts define it as a voluntary delay of some important tasks that we intend to do, despite knowing that we'll suffer as a result. A poor concept of time may make the problem worse, but not being able to manage emotions seems to be the foundation of procrastination. If you are wondering about the reasons behind your procrastination, there's a very interesting quiz that has been made by Dr. Pamela Weigertz to help us determine the reason why we might be procrastinating. So we're going to take a look at this quiz and see if anything sounds familiar. For the first 3 questions, question 1, when faced with the task, do you think of all the ways it could go wrong? Question 2, do you picture how important people in your life might react if you failed? And question 3, do you believe it's better to not try at all, or to try your best and fail? A yes response to these first 3 questions may mean a fear of failure is behind your procrastination. The thought of putting effort but still failing makes you anxious, so you choose avoiding and procrastinating instead. Question 4, are you overwhelmed by the possibility of new responsibilities if you are successful? Question 5, do you subscribe to the idea, if I do well, then others will expect more of me? Question 6, do you feel your success will lead to other people finding out the real you? A yes to questions 4 through 6 may mean that you fear success, not failure. Procrastination protects you from higher expectations and greater responsibilities that may come with succeeding. Similar to those who procrastinate because they fear failure, you keep yourself safe from facing your true limits by avoiding challenges and putting things off. Question 7 says, do you believe that if you're going to do something, you should try and do it perfectly? Question 8, do you find it difficult to persist when things aren't going just right? And the final one, would you rather avoid doing something than doing it imperfectly? A yes to these questions may mean that perfectionism is the reason for your avoidance. Because you believe that things should be done perfectly, the result is that nothing gets done at all. When faced with a task, you become overwhelmed and frustrated, paralyzed by impossible standards. And that will lead us into the misconceptions. A major misconception about procrastination is that it's not harmful. Sympathizers of procrastination often say it doesn't matter when a task gets done, as long as it gets done. Some even believe they work best under pressure. Stanford philosopher John Perry, author of the book The Art of Procrastination, has argued that people can waste their time to their advantage by reconstructing their to-do lists so that they're always accomplishing something of value. I didn't really agree with that. And psychologicalscience.org mentions that scientists believe otherwise. They argue that this combines beneficial behaviors with genuine procrastination. Some examples of beneficial behaviors could be proactive behaviors, which can attempt to solve a problem, or prioritizing behaviors, which organizes a series of problems. Being a procrastinator takes away from these behaviors that we want. So there are 3 main types of procrastination. And according to Joseph Ferrari, who I had mentioned in the beginning, the first one will be the thrill seeker. These are the ever-confident people who believe they work better under pressure. The truth, according to Ferrari, is they simply like the thrill of scrambling to get things done at the last minute. The second one is avoiders. This group includes people who struggle in their decision making. Ferrari mentions that these people oftentimes hope by putting off choosing that others might decide for them. And then the last one is the indecisives. Most of us would call this type of person a perfectionist. They put off what they're doing because they fear not being good enough. Another variation of this type of procrastination is those that fear success itself and the spotlight and the elevated expectations it brings. So now we're going to look at what procrastination does to your health. You might think just blowing off stuff doesn't do anything to you, but it actually makes us have like a bunch of stress. Psychological scientist Fushia Soroy of Bishop's University in Quebec reports that procrastination was significantly associated with having hypertension, cardiovascular disease, even after controlling the effects of age, race, educational level, and other personality factors. Evidence suggests that putting off important tasks causes stress, and this additional stress contributes to negative psychophysiological impacts on the body, which increase our chances for illness. Previous research also has linked chronic procrastination to a range of stress-related health problems such as headaches, digestive issues, colds, flus, and insomnia. And on my final, for the main points, you might have never heard of this before, but procrastination actually leads the government to make over $500 million a year just because people file their returns after the deadline. So just holding off on doing your returns makes the government quite a big chunk of change, I would say. And another fun fact might involve someone you might know or heard of before. Leonardo da Vinci was a notorious procrastinator. He completed fewer than 20 paintings in his lifetime and spent 16 years on the Mona Lisa alone. Much of the time he should have been putting painting was actually spent doodling in many of his notebooks. Before you get too excited, because you also doodle, some of Da Vinci's doodles included early designs for the helicopter and highly accurate maps that were often hundreds of years ahead of their time. And to wrap things up, we are all guilty when it comes to procrastination. One thing that we should all take from this presentation is that it's not time that strains us from getting something done. We are just over-optimistic in our abilities to get it done. There's a reason teachers give us the time they do for assignments, but there's also a reason why we still choose to do them the night before. So next time you're faced with a task, try not to be so optimistic in your abilities. Thank you.